The Hoover Dam, How Taming the Colorado Opened Up the West. Before the Hoover Dam, much of the West was uninhabitable. This was because of the raging Colorado River. It would flood unexpectedly and destroy crops, homes, and land. People tried to harness the river in the early 1900s, mud dams and canals, but none could withstand the raging power of the Colorado River. Due to flooding, the surrounding area of the Colorado River was thought to be permanently uninhabitable. Army Lieutenant J.C. Ives said in 1857, while scouting the river, "The region last explored is, of course, altogether valueless. It seems intended by nature that the Colorado River, along the greater portion of its lonely and majestic way, shall be forever unvisited and undisturbed." This changed when Major John Powell explored the same region 12 years later. Major Powell saw the potential for water projects that would supply the lower lands with water. The first attempt at controlling the Colorado was in 1896 by a private California development company. This company constructed irrigation canals in the Imperial Valley. Although these canals were an improvement from the previous conditions, they were unreliable. Flooding was occurring more often, and annual costs for flood repairs topped $500,000. It wasn't until President Theodore Roosevelt took leadership that the Reclamation Act of 1902 was enacted, making government reclamation possible. Planning for the Hoover Dam began in 1922 by the Reclamation Service. One of the most difficult aspects of preparing for the construction of the dam was the rights to water between the 7 states the river ran through. The Colorado River Compact was the agreement between the states for water rights. The compact divided the states into 2 groups, the Upper and Lower Basin. The Upper Basin includes parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and New Mexico. The Lower Basin includes parts of California, Nevada, and Arizona. While choosing a site for the dam, 2 potential sites were found, Boulder Canyon and Black Canyon. The Bureau of Reclamation and a board of consulting engineers agreed that Black Canyon was the better choice for multiple reasons. The depth to bedrock was less, the geological structure was better, and a dam of lesser height would give the same reservoir capacity. The dam was all part of the Boulder Canyon Act of 1928. In 1931, the Bureau of Reclamation opened bids for the construction of the dam. 6 companies placed the winning bid and was awarded the contract on March 4, 1931. Frank Crowe was the consulting engineer of 6 companies and chief engineer of the dam. Before construction could begin, plans for housing for the workers and their families had to be made. Construction materials had to be planned for, and the large project required specialized machinery. Nothing could be overlooked or else costly delays would occur. Finding laborers was also a difficulty, despite the country being in a depression. It was difficult finding men who qualified for the work and were willing to bring or leave their families. The government and contractors employed over 5,000 men before construction began. The first step in the plan for building the dam was to create diversion tunnels to divert the Colorado River. The workers would then clear away the river sediments and build the dam and power plant on the dry land. But this was not as easy as it sounds. Once construction began, the engineers instructed the workers to drive 4 diversion tunnels. This work began in 1931 and was completed in 1933. The tunnels were created by drilling and blasting through the rock. Each of the tunnels were made with 50-foot diameter. There was a total of 1.5 million cubic yards of rock to be removed. Creating the diversion tunnels was probably the most difficult aspect of the construction. After the river was diverted, workers swiftly excavated for the dam and power plant. On June 6, 1933, the first bucket of concrete was placed. Cableways were used to deliver the buckets of concrete, each weighing 22 tons. The pouring of the concrete went on for 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, for 2 years. There was so much concrete used that it would have paved a road from San Francisco to New York. Due to the dam's massive size, it would have taken over a century for the concrete to cool without artificial cooling. The engineers of the dam decided that while building the dam, they would lay pipes throughout it. After all the concrete was poured, they ran ice-cool water through the pipes to cool the cement. After this, the dam's penstocks, the pipes that would carry water from the reservoir to the power plant, were installed. Once the penstocks were placed, the intake towers were placed soon after this, making the dam nearly complete. On February 1st, 1935, water began to fill Lake Mead. This was the first time in history the Colorado River had been harnessed. In less than 2 years, 5,000 workers had built a structure greater in volume than the largest pyramid in Egypt, which, according to Herodotus, an ancient Greek historian who lived more than 2,000 years ago, required 100,000 men working 20 years to complete. The dam, at its finished height, reached 727 feet, equivalent to the height of a 70-story building. During the construction of the dam, many problems were overcome. One of these problems was the workers' strike. During the summer of 1931, the workers had reached their breaking point. They went on strike for a number of reasons. Salary cuts and unsafe working conditions were the main reason. The workers made several demands to their bosses, but all were rejected. Afraid they would lose their jobs, they all returned back to work. The contract with 6 companies gave them 7 years to complete the job. The job was completed 2 years ahead of schedule, but because of this, many lives were lost. Because of the company's eagerness to finish on schedule, many safety conditions and regulations were ignored. A total of 96 people died working on the dam. There is a statue at the dam site to honor these men. On September 30th, 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt dedicated Hoover Dam. This is an engineering victory of the first order, another great achievement of American resourcefulness, skill, and determination. This is why I congratulate you who have builded Boulder Dam, and on behalf of the nation say to you, well done. Lake Mead is a reservoir that holds the water from the Colorado River for flood control. Lake Mead is the largest man-made lake in the United States. It controls flash floods and runoffs. Today, Lake Mead is a national recreation center and one of the country's outstanding attractions. Hoover Dam definitely was a turning point in history. Most importantly, it allowed cities such as Las Vegas and Los Angeles to thrive.
In a lot of ways. First of all, it helped to develop the western states of the United States. It provided water and power. Las Vegas would probably still be a very small town, which it was before the construction started.
The dam distributes water year-round to California and Nevada. Power is also generated to these cities and states. 55% of the power generated by the Hoover Dam is distributed to California. 15% of that is given to Los Angeles. This is what allowed these cities to develop and become the icon entertainment industries they are.
Well, Los Angeles, I think we know, would never have gotten as big as it is without the water, especially from Hoover Dam.
Before the Hoover Dam, Los Angeles and Las Vegas were nowhere near what they are today. The population was significantly less, and the entertainment industry there was just starting to develop. The impact of the Hoover Dam cannot be overstated. The population of the western United States has almost tripled since its construction. Reclamation of the water and energy created by controlling it has played a major role in the expansion of the West. Los Angeles and Las Vegas in particular have evolved into entertainment meccas that have made major contributions to American culture in the world. The Hoover Dam, one of the 7 architectural wonders of the U.S., opened the floodgates to unprecedented growth in Hollywood and beyond.